In this tutorial, we're going to go through the process of creating and sending out an eFlyer. Once you've logged into your Realtor account and landed on your dashboard, you'll see there's a nice big button right here for eFlyers. Click here to get started. So we'll click on that. The next page, I'm going to see all of my existing listings that I have set up in my Realtor account. But if you haven't done this already, you're going to have to start by creating a listing. So we'll click on Create Listing. I'm going to land on what we refer to as the property details page. In order to move forward, you have to fill in at least the required fields, and these are the ones that are underlined in green. However, I strongly recommend that you take the time at this point and fill in as many of the fields as you can, including over here a paragraph describing your property. Okay? You'll see as we go forward that a lot of the information on this page will auto-populate into our eFlyer template. So filling it in now is just going to save you time later. Okay? Now, in order to save us a little bit of time during the tutorial, I'm actually going to go back a page to all of my existing listings, and I'm going to work on one of the listings I've already set up. And this is just because I've already uploaded my images and I've already filled in all of the text fields. So just in order to save us a bit of time right now, we'll choose one of these. Let's go with 111 Main Street. Now in the options menu, I'm going to click on Create New. Okay, this is so I can show you how to create a flyer completely from scratch. Create New. It's going to bring me into the back end of the eFlyer creator. In all of our back ends, we have what we call a navigation bar that goes across the top of the page, okay? This is how you're going to move around from step to step through the entire process. If you need to move backward, you can jump to any of these pages and move backward, okay? You can sometimes move forward as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and go through all of the steps just to familiarize ourselves. Property details. This is what the property details page looks like when it's fully filled in, okay? I've got my picture here, I've got my property description right here, and I filled in all of these fields. And as I mentioned, this is going to save us time because a lot of this information is going to automatically auto-populate into my eFlyer template. Next up, existing eFlyers. Now this will only be populated if you've already sent out eFlyers for this particular listing. If you have, this is where they are stored, and if you want to do a reblast, you can do that right here by resending it. You can edit it, you can delete it, you can even download or view a PDF of your eFlyer that you've already sent out, okay? Let's move ahead into the template library. This is where we were again. All right, so you'll notice I've got a bunch of templates, little mini templates right here, and I've got a bunch of categories down here on the left. Once you have selected a template and sent out a flyer, we will automatically create a favorites category for you, and any template that you've used will be sitting here in your favorites category. We've done this just to save you some time. A lot of our clients will use the same 2 or 3 templates over and over again for their listings because these are their favorite templates. And rather than having to navigate through all of the different categories to find them again, we simply are placing a copy of them right here in the favorites category. If you'd like to take a look at all of our other templates, you can browse through the categories. For example, we have a styles and themes category. If I open that up, you'll see all the different styles and themes. We have some commercial templates, we have landscape templates, we have templates for luxury listings, we have templates for open houses, so on and so forth. Okay, you might also want to choose your template based on color. You might want to choose a color that matches your logo. Here are all the different colors. Now you'll notice if I choose a color like gold, all of our little templates over here have now switched and are showing me the ones that have gold in the background colors. Okay, I can scroll down and take a look at those. Okay, so that's how the little categories work. We also have city-themed flyers. We have holiday-themed templates. You can go by number of images, number of listings, number of agents, so on and so forth. So you can take a bit of time and browse through all of our different templates. But let's go back up to my favorites. I'm just going to choose one of my favorites for today's tutorial. So over here next to the template, under Options menu, I can choose to preview or select. If I click on Preview, it's just going to show me a much larger version of that little thumbnail, just so I can see what it's going to look like when it's full of all of my content, okay? So I can close this and I'm back where I was in the template library. This time, if I'm happy with what I've seen, I can go back under the options menu and actually choose select. Now the system is going to take a few seconds because it is creating my template for me. I'll wait for that to load. Okay, perfect. So right now I'm in the template editor portion of the project here, okay? So we'll notice over here on the left, I've got images, text, subject, links, and social. So we're gonna start with images. All of the images that I've already uploaded for this listing are showing right here under the Photos tab. Now, if I'm coming in here for the first time, if I've just created my listing, I'm going to need to upload my photos, right? I haven't done that yet. So I can simply click on Upload Images. I will navigate to wherever I have those images saved on my computer, and I can upload them. And then they'll appear in here as little thumbnails, just like what I've got right now, okay? Now you'll notice over here on the template, these big green fields are my image fields. And it says right here, drag and drop your image here. Okay, that's all I have to do to get my images into the template. I'll come over here, see the one I want, click on it, and drag and drop it over. Okay, and I can do that for all of my image fields. Drag and drop that one over, and let's drag and drop this one over. When I'm done, I'm going to click Save Images. Now the template is going to render and it's going to place all of my images into the template. There we go. Perfect. Now if I change my mind and want to use a different image, you'll notice each image has a little X on it. So I can remove that image and drag a new one over, or I can simply drag an image over top of an old one, hit save, and it will re-render, okay? If there is ever a time where I don't want to include an image, like for example, there's an image field down here. This is for a QR code. If I don't want a QR code on my digital eFlyer, and I don't have a second, logo or something I want to use in that image field, I can actually delete the entire image field itself by clicking delete. Now the template is going to re-render. Every time I make changes like this, it's going to re-render. And now that image field is gone. If I want to bring it back, it says restore this image. I can simply click on the plus sign and it will restore the image field. And then I might have another logo or another headshot or another little image that I want to drag over here and use in that field. So that's a little bit of an option for you. Okay, so that was easy. I've just dragged over the images that I want to include. Next is text. Okay, so if we take a look at my template, you'll notice that there's already a lot of text auto-populated into the template. And this is because I took the time to fill in a lot of the fields on my property details page. So my address is already here. My property description is already here. All of my contact information is already here. My price, my little title, everything is already here for me. That doesn't mean that I can't edit it further if I want to, okay? If I mouse over any of these image fields, they become live. If I want to make an edit, I simply click on the image field, okay? And my little text box editor will show up over here, a little bit bigger so I can see it better and with a few basic editing features. So for example, if I want to add, maybe I should add the city and the state here. Okay, let's just say we're in Austin, Texas. Okay, if I wanted to add some more text, I can do that just by typing in the text editor. Okay, if I wanted to do anything else, I can highlight it and I could center it. Okay, I also have the option of making it italic or bold, or I have some other color options. If I wanted to change the color of my text, I can choose a different color as well. Okay, when I'm done, I can also change the size if I wanted to make it a little bit bigger. Okay, once I'm done with my editing, I can click Save Text, and the template is going to render my changes. There, now you'll notice that my title, my address now has Austin, Texas, and it's centered. Okay, so I can do that for all of my text fields. If you ever want to leave a text field empty, for example, if for some reason you don't want the price to show on your flyer, you simply click, open up the text field, highlight the text, delete, it's gone now, hit save. The template's going to render the change that I just made. Okay, and you'll notice that it's gone. If I want to bring it back, I simply mouse over and I can open up the text editor again and type in different text, or bring the price back if I want to. So you have a few options with your text fields like the image fields. You can edit what's in them, or you can delete them altogether. And at any time you can bring them back. You can restore them if you change your mind. Okay? Next up, subject. Whenever you send out an eFlyer, you have to have a subject line. It's the same as when you send an email to somebody. You often want to include a subject line so they know what the email is about, so they know if they should open it. Okay? So same situation here. Now you can type in whatever you want for your subject line. You want to make it enticing so that someone's going to open up your eFlyer, right? Something like fabulous family home in Austin, great price. Okay, something like that so that people will want to open it. I'm going to save my subject. Okay, now it's saved. Next up is links. All right, so with every single eFlyer blast that you do, we automatically generate a free platinum virtual tour. Okay, it's done automatically, and it is free. This means that when someone receives your eFlyer in their email, they can click on the eFlyer and it will open up a virtual tour. Now the virtual tour has a lot more information. So most people send out an eFlyer intending it to link to a virtual tour that basically acts as a single property website featuring a whole bunch of extra goodies about the listing. So to save you some time, the first link is an automatic link to your virtual tour. And we've given it a name, View the Virtual Tour. We've automatically put the link in here so you don't have to do anything. Now you'll notice that there is a delete feature here. If for some reason you do not want your eFlyer to link to the virtual tour or to anything, you can simply click delete and your virtual tour will not link to anything, okay? Similarly, these fields are editable. So if you make your virtual tours with a different vendor, that's totally fine. You can simply copy and paste the link to your own virtual tour right here. Or if you would rather have this link to something else altogether, you can change the title and you can copy and paste a different link here, okay? Now, if I want to keep my free virtual tour, but I want to add some more links, I can do that by simply clicking on Add Link. So maybe I want them to visit, visit my website, okay? And then you would just type in whatever the URL is for your website. You maybe also want to add a link for, welcome to Austin, okay? And then you would just add the link, whatever it is. Let's just call it austin.com. There you go. You can have as many links as you want. When you're done, you're just going to click on Save Links. Okay, so now they're all saved. Last is social. This is totally optional. If you would like to have some links to your social media accounts appear with your eFlyer blast, you can include them. Now mine all show up here because when I first set up my account, when I first made my Realtor account, I filled in all of my social media links. If you have not done that, it's no problem. You can navigate back to my account. You can do it right from here as well. Okay, I can click here and it will take me to my account, social media. I can include as many or as few as I want. Okay, I also have the option of saying, you know what? I wouldn't mind having Facebook and Twitter. I don't really want YouTube and I don't want Instagram. Okay, so you can tick the ones you want and leave the ones you don't. If you don't want any, just untick them. Totally optional. Okay, at this point, I've done my images, my text, I've added a subject, I've added some links, and I've got my social media links set up. I'm ready to move on to the view proof. I can click here, continue to view proof, or I can use my navigation bar. It doesn't matter, you're going to the same place. Okay, now we're on the proof page. Now I cannot stress this enough. Take 5 minutes and proof your eFlyer. Every day, people send out eFlyers to thousands of real estate agents and then, get in touch with us in a panic because they've made a big mistake. They didn't take the time to proofread it and they forgot the price, they've got the wrong address, they're doing an open house, but they didn't put down the date, what have you. Could be anything. So this is your chance on the view proof page to make sure everything is how you want it to be. Here's my subject that I typed in. Here's the actual eFlyer itself. I can scroll down, okay? Everything looks good. Here are my links. Let's try one. Let's try the Welcome to Austin link. Okay, it's opening up austin.com. Perfect, so it works. Let's close that. Okay, test all of your links to make sure they work. Test your social media to make sure it works. Okay, there we go. If we're happy with it, but we want to make sure our client is happy with it, we also have a client proof feature. If I click on client proof, I can type in my client's email address, add a little message for them to let them know this is just a proof, and I can send them a proof of the flyer. That way they can sign off on it and I can blast it out. Rest assured that it's good to go. If at any point I realize I should really fix something, I can edit further. Okay? So that'll bring me right back into the template editor, right where I was before, and I can click in any of these fields, drag over a different image, make any changes that I need to. Okay? So I'm done my edits. I'm sure of my proof. I can jump now to the distribution. And this is the final process for sending out our eFlyer. The first page we land on is the Select Target Areas tab. So we've got a nice Google map here, and our system has automatically generated a target area, which is this red square with our listing address smack dab in the middle. Okay? Now I notice over here I've got a little summary showing me that area number 1, which is this, contains 2,830 real estate agents, and this is what it will cost. If I decide to blast this as is, that's what it's going to cost. If I'm happy with this, I can click on complete order, head to my shopping cart, and finalize. Okay? But I can also do some tweaking on this page. Okay? So you'll notice that my target area has little handles around it. I might want to do a more targeted area, a more targeted blast. I can simply click on these little handles, make my target area a lot smaller. And because this is a Google map, I can use these controls to zoom in so I can see what I'm doing. Here we go. Let's make this even smaller. I want to do a very target. I can also click on it and move it around. I just want to hit, let's say, up here by the university. Okay, move my map down. Okay, so I've made my target area smaller and I've clicked and I've dragged it up here to this specific part of Austin. Now, if I look over here, my summary table has automatically updated. It now has 113 agents and $10. Okay, so that's a lot more targeted. I may want to include a little more than that. So let's just make it just a little bit, maybe stay on this side of the freeway. 246 agents for $11.45. Okay. Now I'm thinking, you know what? I really would like to add an additional target area. So if I want to do that, simply click on Add a Target Area. It's going to zoom out so I can see I've got a purple target area. So this is area number 2. Now maybe I want area number 2 to just move up right over here, and I want it to be a little bit smaller as well, right there. Okay, if I look over here in my summary table, area number 2 has 31 agents for an additional 31 cents. Okay, if I'm happy with that, I can leave it as it is and move on. If I'm not happy with it, if I change my mind, I can always delete the target area. Okay, so now I've deleted the second target area and I just have the one. You can have as many different target areas as you want. Most people just use one. And then sometimes people will have 2 or 3 depending on the listing, right? If it's going to appeal to agents that are in a different part of town who might represent people who need to relocate, you might want to blast your flyer out to different areas. Completely up to you. Okay, the next options I have are add contacts. So right now my flyer is only going to go to real estate agents who have addresses in this target area. But if I want to send this to a few other people who maybe aren't in that area, I simply click on Add Contacts. Okay. Now right here in this field, I can type in an email address. I can type in as many as I want. I can copy and paste a whole bunch of them if I have them saved in a document. Okay. Once I do that, I can then send the flyer to these people as well. So for example, let's just put in my own email address at realtour.biz. Okay, so now this eFlyer is going to go to everybody from my target areas, and it's going to go to this one contact right here. You'll notice over here, one contact. Okay, now if I add a whole bunch of contacts and I figure every time I do an eFlyer blast, I'm going to want these specific people to also get a copy because I want them to, know about all my new listings. I can add all of the email addresses in here. Then rather than having to do this every time, I can create a distribution list, right? I can call them my fave clients of 2019. Okay, then I can save that list, and you'll see it shows up down here now, my favorite clients for 2019. Anytime I want to do an eFlyer blast, I can just come in, see my favorite clients, tick, okay? So it's going to go to them automatically. Okay, so I've got, let's just do a quick refresh. I've got my target areas, my contacts. The next thing I can do, let's tick. The next thing I can do is set a send date. This is brand new and it is optional, okay? The default for sending out an eFlyer is today as soon as possible. Basically, once you have paid for your eFlyer, it will enter our queue and it will go out immediately, okay? However, if you would like to set a specific send date, you can do that right here on this tab. So you can make your eFlyer now and pay for it, but you might not want it to go out until, let's say, Saturday. So I simply click on Saturday, and I can also select the time of day. Maybe I want it to go out late morning, between 9 a.m. and noon. Okay? So now my eFlyer is going to go out on Saturday in the late morning. That's updated over here. Okay? Good to go. So I've set my target area. I've added a contact. I've selected my send date. Now I can complete my order. So this has now added my order to the shopping cart. Now I can have another quick look at what my invoice is. Okay, it's an eFlyer blast for this address. This was my subject line. This was how many people it's going to go to on the map blast. This is how many people for my contacts. It's going April 27th, late morning. There's my total. Once I'm good to go with this, I simply hit continue with payment. Once it's paid for, the eFlyer will go out when I have specified. Okay? That is basically how you create and send out an eFlyer blast.